In 7 years of marriage, I caught Evan cheating 3 times. The first time, he knelt in a torrential downpour, begging for forgiveness. The second time, he enlisted my entire family to stop the divorce. The third time, he just threw up his hands. Fine, go find someone yourself. Happy now? Later, when I walked through the door arm in arm with a gorgeous younger man, he finally snapped. Autumn, come back, he roared. I just smiled, pulling out my new phone. Open marriage was your brilliant idea, remember? Watching him smash every piece of furniture in sight, I added softly, rage won't help, cash might. Over 7 years of marriage, I caught Evan cheating 3 times. The first time, he knelt in the lashing rain, soaked to the bone, his voice trembling uncontrollably. Autumn, I'm sorry. I swear I'll never. Please forgive me. The roar of the rain nearly drowned out his pleas. I watched him through the cold glass pane, my heart feeling like it was being sawed apart by a dull knife. Cold and aching, all I could choke out were the words, "We're done." My mother charged over and slapped me hard across the face. The sting was fierce. Done? Done with what? You were the one who clawed your way to marry him. Divorce now? Think of the family shame. Evan was set up. Get over yourself already. Her tirade softened into wheedling. Evan became a daily fixture, bringing flowers, meals, writing pledges of fidelity, reporting his every move in excruciating detail. A month later, I was gaunt, a shadow. Seeing my wrecked state, he actually shed tears. My heart softened. Fine, but that thorn was forever lodged deep, festering. I moved out of the master bedroom. The thought of him touching me made my skin crawl. Less than 6 months later, strike two. Right outside his office building, I saw him guide his new secretary into his car, his arm possessively around her waist. It felt like a punch straight to my solar plexus, knocking the breath out of me. His defense? Cool as ice. Too much to drink. Mistook her for you. I just stared silent, until his shame curdled into rage and he stormed off, slamming doors. This time, he skipped the begging and went straight for reinforcements. My parents and my brother Aaron. Mom pounded the table. 6 months of the frigid treatment. Any man would crack. Serves you right. Dad jabbed a finger at my nose. File for divorce. And you're no daughter of mine. Aaron was blunter. My struggling little company survives on my brother-in-law's goodwill. Sis, think about us. They staged their siege at my home, then invaded my workplace. Finally, Mom downed half a bottle of pesticide and ended up getting her stomach pumped, lying on the hospital bed. Sallow-faced, she clutched my hand desperately, weeping. Autumn, please, don't leave him. Our whole family depends on this golden goose. Divorce? Think of the gossip. Don't be so selfish. Even Evan's buddies showed up to reason with me, their tone dripping with condescension. Come on, sis. A man like Evan? Keeping a few sweet distractions on the side is normal. Just enjoy being the pampered wife. Spend his cash. Who could ever replace you? Think of your leeching family if not yourself. Evan orchestrated it all from the shadows. Fine, I surrendered. Our home became a mausoleum. I treated him like air. He took the hint, coming home later and later. Those days, I drifted in a haze, watching the world through thick, soundproof glass, a walking corpse, numb to everything. The third time, he brought the secretary home. The living room reeked of sex. His shirt hung open, a vivid red love bite blazing on his collarbone like a brand. My voice came out flat, dead. Evan, why? Why won't you just let me go? Wouldn't divorce be cleaner? He lit a cigarette leisurely, smoke blurring his features. A sigh, heavy with false weariness, escaped him. Autumn, pushing 30 now. Don't be naive. Even if I agreed, your parents would. I'm doing this for your own good. He blew a smoke ring, his gaze cold and detached. They say a blind man's first act upon seeing light is to toss away his crutch. I didn't toss mine. Even if it's useless now, I keep it safe. So, just be the wealthy wife. No love left. Fine, but surely, there's still some family feeling? I actually laughed, tears spilling unexpectedly. So, you finally admit it? You never loved me? His eyes, behind the smoke screen, held mine for a long moment. Then, a twisted smirk tugged at his lips. Yeah, hate to admit it, even the deepest feelings. Time erodes them. He flicked ash, his tone light, dismissive. Watching you cry now, honestly, it doesn't move me, just annoys me. In that instant, something deep inside my chest turned to stone, hard, cold, utterly dead. I bolted from that cursed house. The night wind sliced my face like razors. A drunk man lurched into my path, reeking of alcohol. Hey pretty, where you going? Let me give you a ride. His filthy hands pawed at me, A savage, destructive fury exploded in my skull. Why? Why should I endure this? Screw them all. Screw everything. I stared at him, a chilling smile twisting my lips. Then, I reached into my bag and pulled out the fruit knife I always carried for protection. The blade flashed cold steel in the dim light. The drunk sobered instantly, terror flooding his eyes. Holy shit. Psycho. He scrambled away, stumbling. Blind rage propelled me after him, bare feet scraping over sharp gravel. My soles were probably shredded, sticky with blood. But I felt nothing. Only one thought hammered in my skull. Catch him. Kill him. End it all. I ended up at the sea. The briny wind slapped my face. I sat on the cold, hard rocks, staring into the black void of the water, motionless, until the sky bled pale gray at the horizon. As the sun burst over the sea's edge, its harsh, golden light fell on me. Strangely, amidst the inner ruins, a deathly calm settled. Husband? Not a husband. Family? Not family. I had nothing left. Nothing to lose. What was left to fear? Could the sky falling be any worse than this? They called me crazy, called me cheap. Fine, then crazy and cheap they'd get. Something inside me shattered completely, leaving me strangely weightless. Facing the rising sun, I felt it clearly. The old shell called Autumn he had been smashed to pieces by my own hands. I dragged my battered body home, pushing open the door. I saw the housekeeper awkwardly maneuvering a luggage cart. On the living room sofa, Evan lounged, tangled up with his secretary, Mia. Seeing me, his lazy gaze swept over me. Pausing on my bloodied feet, he frowned. What happened to your legs? No expression. Shoes broke. Stepped on glass. Mia immediately piped up, her voice dripping with false concern and reproach. Miss he, no offense, but playing the vanishing act. So immature. Worried Evan's sick all night. He barely slept a wink. She shot Evan a coy glance. Evan didn't speak, just gave her a warning look. But the look held indulgence. Clear as day, I curled my lip in a smile. Yeah, cheap heels. Tripped me. Broke my phone. My gaze shifted to Mia. My tone matter of fact. You've got good taste. Go pick out the latest spring or summer limited editions from XX and YY for me. Money's no object. Put it on my husband's card. Mia's face fell instantly. She tugged at Evan's sleeve, whining. Evan ignored her. Instead, he studied me thoughtfully for a few seconds, then suddenly smiled. Sure. Let her go buy them. He patted Mia. You head back today? I'm spending my wife's birthday with her. Mia left, shooting me a venomous glare on her way out. What do you want for your birthday? Evan asked. I pulled out my new phone, opened the video recorder, and pointed it at him. That open marriage idea you floated? Us playing the field separately? Does that still stand? Evan blinked, then comprehension dawned, followed by a derisive snort. Yeah, stands. Don't worry. I'll play my game. You play yours. Satisfied? And if you regret it? Regret? He barked a laugh. Pure scorn. If Evan Gu ever regrets it. I'm a dog. Good. Got it recorded. I put the phone away, satisfied, and turned to the housekeeper, Nanny Zhang. Please get the downstairs guest room ready for me. Evan's eyes lingered on my new phone. Changed brands? Got bored, fancied something fresh. My tone was casual. Silence hung heavy for a few seconds. Something, maybe my words, maybe my indifference, struck a nerve. His face darkened with a cold laugh. He stood and strode out. Autumn had changed in ways that unsettled Evan. Her job, the one she'd clung to for nearly a decade, she quit without blinking. Why should a wealthy wife slave away? Enjoying life's the real job. She used to treat that job like her lifeline, her anchor now. Luxury cars ordered one after another, jewelry, antiques, designer bags snapped up without a second thought. All things she'd once scorned. The black card he'd given her years ago. She wouldn't touch it eventually. He stopped offering now. She embraced it all, saw something she liked, sent him a picture demanding payment, entitled, reckless, even disturbingly vibrant. She'd gotten her hair done too big, sensual waves framing a face that was always striking, now downright incendiary. Evan started feeling uneasy. He asked the housekeeper what his wife was up to lately. Madam goes to the gym every single day now, sir, rain or shine. The gym? To please him? He should have been pleased instead. A strange, heavy dread settled in his chest, like something vital was slipping irrevocably out of his grasp. This wasn't the Autumn he knew. Was she sulking? Or was she serious? Open marriage? The idea lodged in his brain like a splinter. Impossible. Even if Autumn gave up on him, She'd only obsess over divorce, that innate pride of hers, that moral rigidity. She'd never cross that line. The more he thought about it, the more agitated he became. Chain smoking, Mia nestled against him, tracing circles on his chest, her voice sour. Dressing up like a peacock every day. Wonder if she's out hunting herself? The words hunting herself struck like a spark to dry tinder. Evan exploded. He grabbed Mia's meticulously styled hair and yanked her head back savagely. Ah, she screamed, eyes wide with terror. His face was contorted with rage, eyes murderous. My wife is none of your business. You cheap slut. Who the hell do you think you are? Know your fucking place. Tears streamed down Mia's face as she clutched her scalp, babbling apologies. Sorry, Evan. I'm sorry. My mouth. Never again. All desire vanish. He shoved her away, grabbed his jacket, and left. He was due for a week-long business trip in Suzhou. On a strange impulse, he visited the temple they'd gone to right after their wedding. The giant banyan tree, laden with red prayer ribbons, was still there. He dug through the dense clusters of faded ribbons, searching relentlessly. Finally, he found theirs, faded almost white, but he recognized Autumn's delicate handwriting instantly. Autumn and Evan will love each other forever. His eyelid twitched violently, a wave of sharp, unexpected grief slammed into him, burning the back of his eyes. He practically fled the temple, an unprecedented urgency driving him home. Now, immediately, he needed to see Autumn. He wrapped up his work at breakneck speed, canceled all remaining commitments, and arrived home a day early, travel-worn. The key turned in the lock. He pushed the door open. The hallway leading to the living room was strewn with a man's shirt, trousers, belt. The air hung thick with an unfamiliar, masculine scent. And from behind the door of Autumn's downstairs guest room, her voice drifted out, lazy, amused, honeyed and hooking. Stop it, Silas. Carry me to the bath. A deafening roar filled Evan's head. His blood surged violently upwards, then froze solid. He stood rigid in the doorway. A statue carved from ice. The guest room door opened. Autumn stood there, wrapped in a towel that barely covered the essentials. Fresh, vivid love bites marked her bare shoulders and neck. Behind her stood a tall, powerfully built young man, wearing only trousers, his sculpted torso on full display. The man spotted Evan and gave an exaggerated gasp, though his face held no surprise, only a hint of mock distress. Whoa sis. Thought the hubby wasn't back till tomorrow? Bit early for surprises, huh? Autumn patted the young man's arm reassuringly before turning her gaze to Evan, frozen in the doorway. Her tone was flat, like asking about the weather. Back early? Should have called. The confusion in Evan's eyes lasted mere seconds before being incinerated by volcanic rage. A guttural roar tore from his throat. Fists clenched, he lunged at the man, Silas aiming for his face. Silas dodged with fluid, practiced ease. Almost lazily, a cocky smirk played on his lips. Chill out, man. Beat me up, and Cicierel just fuss over my hospital bills. Not cool, right? He tipped his chin towards Autumn. Autumn actually chuckled. Hum. Only then did Silas bend to retrieve his clothes. Right in front of Evan's livid face, he slid one arm around Autumn's waist, cupped her chin with his other hand, and planted a deep, possessive kiss on her lips. Utterly ignoring Evan's presence, sis, he murmured when he pulled back, licking his lips suggestively. Don't keep me waiting too long. He shot Evan a final, challenging glance and sauntered out. The door clicked shut. Autumn's wrist was instantly seized in an iron grip. She was yanked brutally, stumbling, shoved into the nearby guest bathroom. Evan, have you lost your mind? She cried out in pain. He was deaf to her, eyes bloodshot, a trapped animal gone feral. He ripped away her towel, turned the shower on full blast, icy cold, and drenched her. The freezing shock jolted Autumn. Fury detonated. Crack. She slapped him with every ounce of her strength. The sharp sound echoed in the small space. Evan's head snapped sideways, cheek flaming. Cold water streamed down his hair. The slap seemed to knock some of the savagery out of him. He slowly turned back, jaw clenched tight enough to crack teeth, staring at her like he wanted to devour her. His words hissed through gritted teeth. Autumn, how dare you betray me? She wiped water from her face, her eyes like ice shards, stabbing into him. Betray you? Evan, cut the amnesia act. Open marriage? Play your own game? Wasn't that your grand proposal? Swore you'd never regret it, was that me? She stopped trying to cover up, stretching openly against the cold tiles, letting the fresh marks, another man's marks, shine starkly under the light. Or did you say it because you were dead sure Autumn he was spineless? That you could grind her heart to dust and she'd still lick your boots? Sure she'd never cross that line, just swallow the pain? The cold water sluiced over Autumn's skin, making the love bite stand out even more cruelly under the harsh light. Evan's gaze flinched away as if burned, his fists clenched, knuckles white, veins bulging on his hands. His whole body trembled slightly. Watching him, Autumn let out a low, utterly contemptuous laugh. Evan, you're pathetic. After that disastrous confrontation, Evan seemed hell-bent on revenge. He brought Mia home openly, installed her like she belonged. The housekeeper went from shock to numb, choosing deafness and blindness. Autumn ignored them. Once, when Mia came downstairs in a new lace negligee to get water, Autumn even complimented her sincerely. Nice PJs. Suit your skin tone. Seeing her so utterly unfazed, Evan nearly choked on his rage. He grabbed Mia and dragged her towards the master bedroom, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. They made a point of loud, obvious sex. If Autumn slept upstairs, they'd pound the headboard against the shared wall next door. If she slept in the downstairs guest room, they'd perform on the living room sofa, moans and grunts penetrating the door. Late one night, jolted awake yet again by a woman's shriek and a man's guttural groan, Autumn's simmering fury boiled over. She threw off the covers, stormed barefoot to the master bedroom door, and kicked the heavy oak panel with all her might. Thud, thud, thud. Evan, Mia, have you got no fucking decency? Some people are trying to sleep, she yelled. The door flew open instantly. Evan stood there, wearing only pajama pants, his bare torso scratched. A nasty, triumphant smirk twisted his lips as he leaned against the doorframe. Thought you didn't care? What's this then? Jealous? Autumn fought down the bile, kept her voice level. What you do, where you do it, what position you use, I don't care, and I don't want to know. But could you try to have some basic consideration when others need rest? Is that too much to ask? Evan stared down at her, his gaze like a searchlight, hunting for any flicker of jealousy or hurt on her face. Finding none, his smirk faded into boredom. Nope, can't do it. Mia slipped out, draped in silk, clinging to Evan like limp seaweed, her voice sickly sweet. Oh, miss he. So sorry. I keep telling him, be gentle, Evan, but he just won't listen. She batted her lashes meaningfully at Evan, then turned back to Autumn, her words barbed. Ah well, it is his house, after all. You'll just have to put up with it, missy. Autumn listened, then nodded. You're right. She turned and walked back to her room. Less than half an hour later, Autumn wheeled her suitcase out. Silas was already waiting in the foyer, his tall frame leaning casually against the console. Evan watched, a vein throbbing at his temple. As she passed him, he grabbed her wrist, his grip bone-crushing. Autumn, where the hell are you going? She wrenched her hand away like it was contaminated. Somewhere I can get a decent night's sleep. Okay, happy? He blocked her path like a wall, his voice raw, ragged. You're not leaving. Silas's eyes turned cold, without a word. He drove a sharp elbow hard into Evan's ribs. Oof. Evan gasped, caught off guard, staggering back until his spine slammed against the wall. Mia shrieked and ran to help him, but he shoved her away irritably throughout. Evan's bloodshot eyes remained locked on Autumn's face, filled with shock, confusion, and a sliver of undisguised panic. Autumn didn't spare him a glance. She slipped her arm through Silas's offered one and walked towards the door without looking back, tossing a final, icy sentence over her shoulder. I'll come back when the house is quiet. Silas drove Autumn to a luxury apartment in her name. Inside, he slipped off his shoes like he belonged, wrapping his arms around her waist from behind, nuzzling her neck. You barely look at me when Prince Charming's home, Autumn. He. What am I to you? His voice was muffled, petulant. She reached back, ruffling his short, spiky hair affectionately, her tone brutally honest. The side piece, Silas. His absurdly handsome face fell instantly. He looked at her with wounded puppy eyes. Okay, so, can you hang out with your side piece now? His words were a tentative question, but the hand already sliding under her shirt, hot and possessive, was anything but Autumn. It was hard to reconcile this clingy creature with the cold, cutting man who'd reduced her to rubble just 2 months prior. Their first meeting was a pitiful memory. That day, Evan got caught cheating again, this time with a model planted by a business partner. My mom performed her usual routine, fake outrage at her son-in-law, gradually shifting to cataloging my flaws, my dowdy hair, my insufficient curves, my rigid personality, my utter inability to please a man. Finally, the real agenda. Autumn, listen to your mother. Go sign up for a class. hit the gym, learn makeup, win Evan back. That's the priority. I doubled over in front of her, retching violently. I heaved until my stomach cramped, my throat burned. But the deep-seated nausea, the soul-deep revulsion, wouldn't purge. The kicker? Mom, seeing me vomit, lit up with hope. Oh, could you be? She dragged me, protesting, straight to the hospital. Diagnosis: acute gastroenteritis, TS, false alarm. She didn't hide her disappointment. Muttering as she left, I drifted out of the hospital like a ghost, numb, walking aimlessly. I don't know how long I walked. Suddenly, a glossy card appeared before me. Excuse me, interested in professional fitness? New studio opening, huge discounts, fitness? The word hit my raw nerves like hot needles. Fitness? You think I need fitness to please a serial cheater? I snapped my head up, screaming at the stranger, tears bursting forth uncontrollably. You think a husband cheats again and again because his wife isn't pretty enough, isn't sexy enough? You think it's all my fault? I sobbed like a madwoman on the crowded street. Passersby stared, curious, judgmental. Shame and helplessness engulfed me. I snatched the card, stuffed it blindly into my pocket, and tried to flee the humiliation. A calm, clear male voice cut through my chaotic sobs, landing firmly in my ears. You're fine. A husband cheating is never the wife's fault. He made solemn vows before heaven and earth, before friends and family. He broke them. That's his failure. My steps faltered. The voice continued, steady. As for fitness, it's never about pleasing anyone else. It's about taking control, shaping your own body, feeling its power. That's all. I sat by the city moat that entire afternoon, when the setting sun painted the water shattered gold and crimson. Finally rose. Turning, I froze. Not far off, a tall, silent figure stood, watching. A stranger. He'd stayed unseen, guarding me, afraid I might jump. Later, I signed up for the top-tier membership at the high-end gym where he worked. He became my personal trainer. I learned his name, Silas. Silas's face was arrestingly handsome. A queue of female members tried flirting with him daily, but he was iced to everyone except. His WeChat replies got faster, longer, during sessions. Those inevitable touches, adjusting equipment, correcting posture, lingered a fraction longer than with others. Our evening chats deepened from film scores to character fates to societal views, finding surprising alignment. Maybe it was the gravitas of age. Whatever it was, in under 2 months, Silas's icy fortress melted before me. After an intense weight session, we sat catching our breath. He spoke suddenly, his voice lower, rougher than usual. My parents, classic strategic alliance, had me. Mission accomplished. Then went their separate ways. Home was an icebox. A self-mocking twist of his lips. So I ran back here. Rather be a trainer. Hard work, but free. Autumn listened quietly, unsurprised. She swirled her water bottle. Yeah, stupid, like I used to be. Silas looked startled, running away. Deep down, you hoped they'd wake up, come find you, offer some belated love. She met his sharp, young eyes, her tone factual. But they'll just forget you faster. The inheritance meant for you? It'll be carved up by your dad's or mom's younger, sweeter talking bastards. She pointed at him, her words cutting. Since that's the case, why not marry him yourself after I divorce? Keep it in the family. Autumn, you're insane, utterly deranged, Dad roared, trembling, grabbing a heavy ashtray to hurl at me. Evan snapped too, wrestling the enraged man back. Dad, calm down. Seeing his apoplectic rage, I laughed, a wild, reckless sound, insane. Maybe I should have lost it years ago. My gaze swept the home that had held such meager warmth. The TV, mine. The fridge, mine. The AC, mine. So many things here, bought with my sweat and blood. A destructive impulse seized me. I charged to the foyer, grabbed Aaron's baseball bat leaning there. Since you despise me, despise my money so much. I swung the bat with every ounce of strength, smashing it into the brand new giant flat screen TV. Crash, shatter, the screen exploded into a spider web of cracks. My TV, Mom wailed like a stuck pig. Then don't use it. Thud. The fridge door crumpled under the blow, the compressor groaning in protest. Crack. The standing AC's casing split, cold air hissing out. Smash it. Smash it all. Living off my money, in my house, and you dare call me shameful? I went berserk, eyes bloodshot, swinging the bat, reducing everything I'd paid for to splinters and scrap. The living room became a war zone, debris flying like the shards of my heart they'd long ago ground to dust. Total chaos. Mom collapsed, slapping her thighs, howling, snot and tears mingling. Curse me. What sin did I commit to birth such an ungrateful wretch? Should have died giving birth to you. I stopped, leaning on the bat, breathing hard. I looked down at her, a strange, gentle smile touching my lips. Fine, want to die? Go die. Last time the pesticide didn't work. This time, find a tall building. Don't dangle halfway. My voice was calm. Don't worry, this time. I absolutely positively won't stop you. Her wails choked off mid-screech, replaced by terrified hiccups. When there was nothing left intact to destroy, I dropped the bat, sticky with debris. It landed with a dull thud. I surveyed the wreckage, looked at the faces twisted in fear, rage, and disbelief. My voice was weary, icy. From now on, whether you live or die, has nothing to do with Autumn. Live or die. Your choice. I paused, my gaze sweeping over each of them, try to pressure me again. Guess what kind of crazy comes next? The drive back was painfully slow, suffocating silence filled the car. Evan's knuckles were white on the steering wheel. After a long time he spoke, his voice hoarse, filled with profound confusion. Autumn, what's happened to you lately? I leaned back, eyes closed, voice flat. Isn't this what you wanted? Pull the same trick, use them to corner me again. Well, happy with the result, Mr. Goo? Evan slammed on the brakes at a red light. He turned, staring at me, trying to force a smile that looked more like a grimace. So, why, won't you forgive me this time, Autumn? You even threw them away? Threw away family? His voice held a desperate, drowning helplessness. When did you get so heartless? I opened my eyes slowly, gazing at the neon blurring past outside. Evan, they stopped being my family the moment they chose your side. Every time you stabbed me, they held you down and rubbed salt in the wound. A near cruel smile touched my lips. My only regret is not seeing it sooner. Not going crazy like this sooner. Feels pretty damn good, doesn't it? The car moved forward. I turned, watching his tense profile now. I don't care about anything. Evan Goo, tell me, what's left for you to threaten me with? The car finally stopped outside Silas's apartment building. I got out without a backward glance. Just as the door was closing, the wind seemed to carry a whisper, faint and thick with despair. Yeah, what is left to make you stay? I shoved those toxic people and their drama to the deepest recesses of my mind and kept my promise to Silas. We embarked on our long-planned road trip west, a whole month, driving into the sunset, on endless grasslands. Silas grabbed my hand, and we sprinted headlong into the wind, its roar filling our ears, smelling of grass and pure freedom. At the foot of towering snow-capped mountains, huddled under thick blankets, we witnessed the soul-shaking spectacle of sunrise painting the peak's gold alpenglow. As the first rays pierced the clouds, gilding the summit's sacred gold, an indescribable sense of awe and majesty slammed into my heart. Blood that had lain dormant for too long surged hot and vital again. Freedom, it turned out, was addictive. Back home, Evan showed up. He'd fired Mia, swore I'd never see a hair of her again. Fine, home was home, and he paid the bills. The very day I moved back, Mia showed up, hysterical, clearly drunk, eyes swollen. She shrieked and raged in the living room, clinging to Evan's waist like a barnacle. I don't believe it, Evan. I don't believe you feel nothing. Look me in the eyes and say you don't love me. She screamed, deranged. Evan, now stone-hearted, pried her off. Yeah, nothing. Don't love you. His voice was glacial. Liar. Mia screeched, voice hitting glass-shattering pitch. Don't love me? Then why did you let me take off your wedding ring? Why let me ride shotgun? Why skip her birthday and let me post that picture? Tell me you didn't feel anything for me? Her eyes burned with venom. Did that bitch force you? She's got her boy toy. Won't let you divorce? I'll find her. Rip her face off. She lunged for the stairs. Evan grabbed her arm and flung her to the floor. Mia. Evan's voice vibrated with suppressed violence. Call my wife bitch one more time, and I swear you'll vanish from this city. Mia sprawled on the floor, staring up at this suddenly ruthless man. Tears streamed down her face, but a twisted, crazy smile spread across it. Evan? Ha ha ha. Evan, playing the devoted husband now? When you were screwing me, when you were pounding me senseless, did you think of your wife then? She laughed, shaking uncontrollably, pointing a trembling finger. Now she doesn't want you, doesn't love you, and you crawl back. Never let her set foot here again. I descended the stairs just as Evan looked up. For a split second, his eyes held pure panic like a kid caught red-handed. Wife? Let me explain. I really ended it with her. I cut him off, jingling my car keys. Don't bother your business. Not interested. I headed for the door. Evan followed, a thread of panic in his voice. It's late. Where are you going? I pulled the door open, not turning. Silas isn't feeling well. I'm going over. Won't be back tonight. The door clicked shut behind me, cutting off whatever he was about to say. Sealing in his red-rimmed eyes. Silas was genuinely sick, probably exhaustion from the trip and a bug. He'd been running a low fever since we got back. I bundled him into the car and drove him to the hospital, registering, paying, sitting through the 4-drip, picking up meds. A full day's ordeal. Back at his apartment, I pushed him into bed, tucked him in. Right. Take the meds and sleep. I felt his forehead, still warm. I moved to turn off the light. His hand shot out, grabbing mine. Fever flushed his cheeks. The usual sharpness in his eyes was softened by a film of moisture, making him look startlingly vulnerable. Don't go. His voice was a raspy croak. Not going. I sat on the edge of the bed, squeezing his hot hand. I'll stay. Sleep? He stared stubbornly, gaze bleary but intense. Sis, no one's ever been this good to me. My heart softened. I patted his hand. Silly. Plenty of people will be good to you, if you let them, not the same. He closed his eyes, long lashes casting shadows. Just want you. His voice faded into a murmur. I woke early the next morning and simmered a pot of savory rice porridge, his favorite. The aroma filled the kitchen. Silas woke, wrapping his arms around my waist from behind like a giant koala. Chin on my shoulder. Leaving? His voice was thick with sleep. I stirred the pot. Get well. I'll visit in a couple of days. He wrinkled his nose, grumbling. Your ex-husband. What's his damage? Copycat? I get sick. He magically gets stomach pain? Bullshit. I laughed, spooning a bit of porridge, blowing on it, offering it. What can I do? First wife privileges. Needs to feel relevant. First wife? Silas growled, nipping my collarbone playfully, leaving a faint mark. Then his hot hand slid under my shirt, tracing my waistline, his voice dropping to a husky murmur. Feeling better. Guess the meds worked. So, half an hour of deep conversation. He drew a sharp breath, his eyes darkening instantly. Before I could answer, he scooped me up, depositing me on the cool marble kitchen island. He dropped to one knee, looking up at me, his gaze predatory. Half an hour? Sis, you seriously underestimate me. Implied continuation of intimate scene. When I finally got home the next evening, a heavy leather man purse sailed through the air and smacked me square in the face. Autumn, are you fucking insane? Evan stood in the foyer like a volcano about to erupt, his tall frame casting a long shadow. His voice was raw with fury. Constantly shacked up with that piece of trash. Find that fun? I rubbed my stinging nose bridge, fury rising to meet his. Evan, who's the one constantly picking fights? Seems like you're having a grand old time. My stomach. He clutched his upper abdomen, face alarmingly pale, a sheen of sweat on his brow. His voice suddenly weakened, laced with deliberate vulnerability. Hurt stomach? I scoffed, pushing past him towards the stairs. Stomach pain? See a doctor. I'm not your Pepto-Bismol. I wanted your porridge, he mumbled, almost inaudibly, behind me. My foot froze on the stair. I turned slowly, looking down at him, my eyes ice. Had plenty of energy to make it for Silas, huh? Evan flinched visibly. You're stalking his friends list now? Disbelief colored my voice. Evan, CEO of a listed company. Nothing better to do. Obsessing over your ex-wife and her boyfriend's private life. Feeling accomplished? I descended step by step, closing in, my sarcasm biting. Open marriage. Your idea? So what's this tantrum about? Think tanking Silas's job gives you leverage? Newsflash. He leaves. There's Leo, Luke, Liam. I'll spend your cash on other men, guilt-free. When will you get it? I stared at his pain-contorted body, enunciating each word. No one cares if you're sick. No one cares if you die. Evan suddenly groaned, doubling over, clutching his stomach violently. Sweat beaded like pearls on his forehead. He looked chalk white, genuinely in agony. He lifted his head, his eyes held. A plea? Like a dying dog begging for scraps of mercy. I watched his wretched suffering coldly, pulled out my phone, called the housekeeper. Nanny Zhang? Mr. Gu's stomach is acting up badly. Call 911 or his private doctor. I hung up. Didn't spare another glance for the man curled on the floor. Went upstairs. Late that night, half asleep, I felt someone kissing me, heavy with alcohol, desperate, frantic. I swatted instinctively, mumbling, Silas, stop. The kissing stopped dead then. A rougher, suffocating kiss crashed down, I jolted awake, in the dark. I recognized the shape pinning me down. Evan, are you clinically insane? Rage detonated. I slapped him with every ounce of strength I possessed. Crack. The sound was shockingly loud in the silent room. He didn't dodge. Instead, he pressed the cheek I'd struck back against my palm. I felt wetness tear his wife. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. He choked, voice shattered, hopeless. He tried to clutch me tighter, his hot mouth desperate on my neck, my collarbone. Let's fix this. Stop fighting, please. Like before, his voice broke, abject. What he gives you, I can too. I'll make you feel good, make you happy. Please, wife, please. Overwhelming disgust. The mirror reflected a gaunt, hollow-eyed, stubble-shadowed face, eyes bloodshot, a drained husk. A ghost of the man he'd been. Remember what you said. I pulled out my phone, tapped the video I'd saved like a trophy, volume maxed. Evan's voice, clear and arrogant, filled the room. Open marriage. Play your own game. Happy now. Regret? If I regret it, I'm a dog. Silence crashed down after the video ended. Hear that? I stared at his ashen, shattered reflection in the mirror, my voice glacial. You said if you regretted it, you'd be a dog. Evan looked from the broken man in the mirror to the arrogant man in the video. The contrast, the shame, obliterated him. He twitched his cracked lips, then, from deep in his throat, came a low, abject sound. Woof. He squeezed his eyes shut, tears flooding out. His voice was broken glass. Autumn. I'm a dog. I'm scum. The biggest fucking idiot on earth. Hit me, curse me, humiliate me. I don't care. As long as you're happy. As long as you come back. He seemed delirious, muttering, trying to convince himself, we can go back. We can. Disgust choked me. I released his hair, desperate to escape the pathetic mess. But that slight push thud, Evan crumpled like a puppet with its strings cut. He fell straight back, his head cracking hard against the cold marble floor, frowning. I stood a few feet away, watching him writhe and moan on the floor for a long moment. Finally, I delivered one last, icy barb. Evan, when did you get so weak? Didn't really catch some terminal filth out there, did you? I crossed my arms, disdain dripping from my words. If you're sick, get treated. My only demand? My lifestyle doesn't dip one iota because of you. After all, I paused, my gaze sweeping over his thin, crumpled form on the floor like discarded trash. The only value you have left to me is your ability to sign checks. After that final rupture, I moved out for good. Evan, drained, finally stopped harassing me. But Mom started calling. Tread carefully, voice laced with a rare, deliberate attempt at warmth. Autumn. Busy lately, Eden? Your dad. He misses you. Rambling, hinting. Dad and Aaron took turns texting and calling. Their tone unprecedentedly gentle. Sis, my bad last time. Spoke without thinking. Don't hold it against me, Autumn. Dad was drunk that day. Stupid. Come home. For dinner sometime? Mom'll make your favorite dumplings. The subtext was clear. They wanted me back. The prodigal daughter returning with her wealth. I knew them too well. The favoritism carved into their bones. Aaron needed new clothes. Essential. My clothes worn? Mend them. Aaron's bowl piled high with drumsticks. I got a wing. Girls eat less. Aaron's allowance always ran out. Mine was always just enough. Too many tiny betrayals. Grains of sand grinding the heart raw over years. Yet, whenever I steeled myself to hate them, to cut TIs, some half-remembered scrap surfaced a cool cloth on my fevered brow one night. A faint sigh in the dark after a failed test. The cruelest pain wasn't their open disdain. It was the crumbs of counterfeit warmth they tossed my way after crushing my hopes. For those scraps, I'd play the fool, forget the wounds, grovel at their feet like a beggar. They say an unloved child wears a wet coat, cold wearing it, colder taking it off. My life's single act of rebellion was marrying penniless Evan Gu against their furious threats. My one escape from decades of stifling obedience. History proved me right. Evan succeeded. We lived well. My parents transformed from sneering critics to fawning sycophants. Memories of their cold neglect blurred beneath the facade of sudden love. I despised my own cheapness, my neediness, yet clung to this belated, money-stained affection, trying to fill the void with cash and compliance, until Evan's first affair. The gilded cage of our family burst like a soap bubble, revealing the ugly, unchanged truth beneath. At 29, I finally stripped off that sodden, freezing coat. Cold, so be it. I didn't want it anymore. Expressionless, I blocked every number linked to my parents and brother. Hitting confirm. I exhaled a breath held for 29 years. Turns out, it wasn't so hard. I saw Evan again at his mother's grave. I brought simple white chrysanthemums for the woman who'd truly cared for me. The cemetery was quiet. He stood stiffly before the headstone, draped in a somber black overcoat, radiating profound isolation. He turned slightly at my footsteps. We stood side by side in silence, only the wind whispering through pines. In such a place, the past inevitably flooded back. Early days, Evan was broke, building his business, courting investors, scrambling for his mother's medical bills. He drank himself to the ear more than once. I ached for him, learned recipes to soothe his stomach, ran myself ragged between hospital, office, our tiny rental, savory rice porridge. I perfected it because he loved it. His mother had pancreatic cancer, surgery failed, relapse. I sat by her bed in her final days. She'd hold my hand, rambling about Evan's childhood, his abandoning father, his premature maturity, his non-existent rebellious phase. She said meeting me was their blessing, before slipping away, her frail hand gripping Evan's. She made him swear, take care of her, never fail her. He knelt, sobbing like a child, swearing he would. So, even later, when he cheated relentlessly, financially, he never truly shortchanged me. But that provision? Now I see it, just mechanical duty. A sop to his conscience, a patronizing payoff for breaking his vow to his dying mother, whatever. Pointless to dissect broken promises. Let it go. After paying respects, I turned to leave. Behind me, his voice came, unnervingly calm, like a stone sinking soundlessly into deep water. Autumn. Let's divorce? I stopped. After a long moment, eyes lowered, I answered simply, okay. Signing the papers, I glanced at the asset division. Shockingly generous. He'd signed over almost everything: properties, investments, cash, leaving only the core equity of his company. The sum was staggering. I wasn't foolish enough to refuse. Signing my name, I even managed a wry quip. Huh? Guess my taste in men wasn't a total disaster, at least. Mr. Gu knows how to make an exit. He was skeletal, cheekbones sharp, eyes sunken and bloodshot. His expensive suit hanging loose. A bitter, self-mocking smile twisted his lips. But you stopped trusting me long ago. His voice rasped, world-weary otherwise. You wouldn't have started. Quietly moving out. But just before turning away completely, I saw at the thick, unshed tears flooding his faded eyes. Autumn. I'm sorry. A sigh, lost in the wind outside the registry office. We'd finally arrived here. Stepping outside, sunlight warmed my skin. Silas took my hand, fingers interlacing. What now? My rich lady? His eyes sparkled. I squinted into the light, answering without hesitation. See the world, that month driving west. The wind howling across the grasslands, the soul-stirring sunrise over snow-capped peaks. Nature's majesty was the key that unlocked my rusted heart. I realized then. It wasn't my spirit that was broken. It was the chains: marriage, family, duty. The world was vast. I could go anywhere. I was free. You? I asked him, what's next? Silas looked down at me. His handsome face relaxed, resolved. He squeezed my hand. I'm going back. Back. To claim what's mine. I raised an eyebrow, surprised. He smiled, eyes clear. You were right. Running solves nothing. What's mine? Why let those bastards and bitches steal it? Determination hardened his gaze. Silas doesn't roll over that easily. Seeing the fire reignited, I smiled genuinely, squeezing back. Good. I'm with you. From the start, Silas and I had an unspoken pact. This thing between us, born of mutual need and solace, either could walk away. Now the dust had settled, paths diverged, time to part. I was formulating a graceful goodbye when Silas's clear voice, edged with barely concealed nerves, spoke beside me. Sis? He stopped walking, turning to face me, hands on my shoulders, looking me straight in the eye. You fly, see everything you want to see, but fly a little slower. He took a deep breath, youthful face set with courageous sincerity. Wait for me. Let me clean up the mess back home. Plant my feet firm. I will catch up, fast. His eyes blazed, like captured stars. If I catch you, Autumn, I want a chance, a real chance, to stand beside you. As your only choice. He paused, ears tinged pink, voice unwavering. Autumn, I really, really like you. Sunlight gilded his young, vibrant face. The answer didn't require much thought. I smiled, rose on my toes, wrapped my arms around his neck, and hugged him tight. Okay. I wouldn't stop for anyone, but I didn't mind sharing part of the journey with a soul that fit. How long would we walk side by side? Leave that to time, to fate. 6 months later, my footprints mark Egypt's ancient, mysterious sands. Standing awestruck before the colossal statues of Abu Simbel, my pocket buzzed. An unknown number, calling from back home. I answered. A stiff, formal male voice identified himself as Mr. Evan Gu's attorney. Ms. He, apologies for the intrusion. I regret to inform you that Mr. Evan Gu passed away early this morning after a prolonged illness. The lawyer paused, letting the news settle. Per Mr. Gu's final will and testament, executed recently, he liquidated all shares in Voyager Tech. The proceeds, along with his remaining personal assets, real estate, investments, cash, have been transferred in full to your designated offshore account. Documentation has been sent via encrypted email. Another pause. The lawyer's tone remained professionally grave. Our condolences. Additionally, Mr. Gu left a final message. He specifically requested you be given the choice to hear it. Would you like me to relay it? I held the phone, dwarfed by the immense statue of Ramses II, gazing up at the weathered, imperious face. The sun beat down, warming my skin. The lawyer's words were a pebble dropped into deep, still water, a faint ripple, then calm. I looked from the ancient stone face out to the endless golden desert. My voice was calm, untroubled. No need. Thank you. I hung up. My guide and Egyptologist Silas had arranged, asked in concerned English, Madam, urgent news? Need to pause? I turned from the desert vista, offering him an easy smile. No, nothing important. He nodded understandingly, his face lighting up again as he gestured towards the temple. The true marvel, madam, he continued in fluent Mandarin, is the precision. Ancient astronomers calculated the angles so that only twice a year, the dawn sun pierces 60 meters of corridor to illuminate the innermost sanctuary. His voice wove tales of millennia past. The grandeur reclaimed my focus. The phone call's brief shadow vanished like a grain of sand in the desert wind. Truly unimportant. Only later, standing alone in the shadow of a giant pillar, staring up at the temple's ceiling painted with eternal stars, did a line of ancient poetry surface unbidden. If only life could stay as at first sight. Why should the painted fan grieve autumn wind? Back in university dorm talks, a roommate once joked, pointing at our names. Autumn, Evan? Sounds a bit tragic, like autumn winds and painted fans. Fleeting beauty? I'd hiss jinx 3 times, swearing we'd grow old together. Now, the prophecy stood fulfilled. All one could sigh was, life's unpredictable, hearts change, but even the fiercest storms pass. I lifted a hand, shielding my eyes from the sun's glare. A smile of release touched my lips. Keep walking forward, never look back. That's all for today's story. Thank you for listening. This is my channel. The tales I share, drawn from life or woven from imagination, are meant to offer you connection, reflection, and perhaps solace or newfound strength. If you long to see your own reflection in others' journeys, or seek a glimmer of light within the maze of emotions, subscribe to my channel. Listen with your heart. Explore the stories of life.